How we doing this evening, YouTube? I I wanted to compare the Cobra Daytona Coupe versus the Shelby Cobra Roadster, which what people think of when they think of the Shelby Cobra. Um, I don't know that this is going to be as interesting as what I thought it would be, even starting out, and that's just looking at the numbers here. What the heck? We got pace cars everywhere. That's crazy. Pace car. I've never seen a grid like this. The pace cars in the Honda 2 and 4, which that car I love. I wish they would be able to come out with it. I don't know that they will. But anyway, back to what I was trying to say. The Shelby Cobra Daytona was built on the same chassis as the Shelby Cobra Roadster. And it was just an aerodynamic situation. The other car is real bubbly and it looks very silky and smooth and slick. But in terms of actual aero, it's not really good. It's very pleasing to the eye, but not to the environment in terms of air. But this car was much more aerodynamic and much more capable at speed. The Roadster was good just because it didn't really get up to speeds on most of the tracks that it was running, that it really mattered about the aerodynamics the way this one did. But in working with the cars in the game, it's pretty clear that it actually openly states that they're using different motors. It says it's a Windsor 289, I think, whereas the Cobra has a 427. So with that, the Roadster has much higher performance points. And I figured that out because I was trying to get this one up to where that was, trying to correct what I had done to make it under 700. And it's still under 700. I thought I had just set it up to allow it into a race. This car didn't really allow for many parts either. Like you could supercharge it and intercool the supercharged air. Tires, obviously. But like brake pads aren't even an option on this car. This may end up putting down better lap times though, even though it's way less horsepower. And I'm guessing it's a slower car just because of that. But it feels very predictable. It feels very, very well balanced. So we got a 154. This is a $20 million car. So, but this is the same chassis as the next car we're about to run, even though it's the coupe version of the Cobra. Even though they look dramatically different. It looks nothing. You could put them next to each other, you wouldn't have any idea without prior knowledge that they're the same car. And I'm having to back out of this and be a little bit more manual because it's not allowing race cars in this league. So let's go ahead and see if we can beat a 154. I think I need to adjust some settings here. I think it's still running the... I had set it up with the manual adjustable transmission instead of the paddle version. Fully customizable manual. I'm putting them both at 350 just to keep it somewhat similar. I was planning to have the suspension dialed in identically as well, but it just wasn't even an option. They're just dramatically different cars. And I think the Cobra was around 500 horse. This is at 832, so like 50% more power. So it's... everything's good. Everything's good. Beautiful car, though. Oh, they're both gorgeous. Now this car is a tenth of the price, a little over that. It's 2.5 million, I believe, right now in the store. So I just ran this car at Le Mans, and it was, oh yeah, you can see now that the tail comes out pretty easily on it. The real versions of these cars are all aluminum bodies, and made for a very lightweight roadster with a lot of power. Now, when I was running at Le Mans, it was getting to be around. Just slid out there. You can see, and that wasn't a power slide. That was just the back end gets light on this car. That's what basically created the coupe. I mean, they knew they couldn't aerodynamically keep the back end down. But at Le Mans, I was able to get it almost to 200 miles an hour, and that was, without really trying to get there. It was hitting like mid 190s, 195, 196. So I don't know that this car would ever do that for real. It does have customizable bumpers, as well as you can put that standard rear wing on it that is available for almost every car. It's basically the risers with the carbon fiber spoiler, but it's hideous on here. It just ruins the lines of the car. The wide body kit I didn't really care for either. I think it's over the top. I did change the bumpers out because it starts off with like the American factory bumper where the big chrome surround on the grill, or it doesn't really have a grill, but on the opening for the cooling. It's fun to slide. Whereas the Daytona, we weren't even getting a slide out of it. But I didn't like the wide body. I didn't like most of the aero. Not the aero. I didn't like the wing on the back. But I did like I used the second option for the bumpers. I believe it's the European style. But it looks like it leaves the mounting hardware while deleting the bumpers. You can also just completely delete them. But I didn't like that look so much. or as much. I mean, it's fine. That was just preference. It wasn't as easy to get the time. I mean, it's you're dancing with that back end, but I mean, as close as for the lack of precision that I have, that's damn near identical. But it's surprising how different they feel, and I'm sure like. My thought was that they were going to feel similar up until they got into speed, and you know, then you'd feel the difference in the body design, and you'd feel the difference in the aerodynamics. Because they put a lot of work into the Daytona to make it correct, instead of, I mean, that's a design that's beautiful and flowing, and it's made to look beautiful. The Daytona was made to be fast. It was made to be smooth in the air and put pressure in the right spots so that the wheels were balanced and getting the right amount of downforce. My hopes were kind of ruined when I found out that they were running completely different engines. So it's not apples to apples at all. Let me pop into the two cars real quick, and you can see how vastly different they are. It's almost like the engine swaps, but it's not. So you can see here, you know, flat in the torque, but 832 horsepower, 633 foot-pounds of torque. The weight is a little heavier on this car. The engine is a lot less powerful. And there we are looking at, the torque's not so much of a drop, but it's a good drop in horsepower. But a great, I mean, for you know, having almost a third of the horsepower missing, the car pulled the same time, and that's just how predictable and balanced this car really is. I mean, it's a nice car. I would love to get even just within the like visual distance of one of these things. They're freaking gorgeous. But anyway, that was the plan, so I went with it, even though it wasn't what I was hoping to do. But it shows that power isn't everything, because a heavier, lower performance car was able to pull the same time as the much more powerful but much worse aerodynamic Cobra Roadster. But anyway, thank you for viewing, and I hope you guys have a great night.